Kaylee, welcome to the Social Angle podcast.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on this
We're
podcast. I'm
excited
so
you're
excited.
here.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you. We have a great topic today. We're talking about social media and the customer journey. So, tell our audience a little bit more about yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on here and listening to my voice today. So my name is Kaylee. I am a marketing consultant, and I have worked with small businesses and startups for several years now, helping them really build their brands and launch in a way that activates their community and creates an experience that people can really remember. So it really helps people to break down all of those different marketing strategies that you hear about and prioritize what's going to be the most meaningful for your customers, and especially for small businesses and startups in the early stages that are trying to like make a splash and gain that market attention, notability. That's really where I come in. So it's been fun getting to work with a bunch of different brands. In my experience, I've mostly worked with purpose-driven brands. So I worked for a while with the community of B corporations like Patagonia, Ben and Jerry's, and I learned a lot from working with those businesses. And today, my focus is on startups in the early stages, and I also spend a lot of time over on YouTube educating my community around marketing and kind of breaking all of this stuff down, which I know that you guys do as well on the Social Angle podcast. It's definitely much needed to make all of this information about how to optimize your social media, reach your target audience, make it make sense.
Nice. So, Ben and Jerry's, do you get any free samples?
We did back in the day. We definitely did. Yeah, but not so much anymore.
All right, so let's talk about customer journey. That seems to be a buzzword that like many people have heard, but they might not understand, like myself, because I had to kind of like research it before this podcast. But can you define what it is and how important social media is to the journey?
Yeah, so customer journey, the benefit of looking at your entire customer journey is that it offers you a framework to understand how your customer is interacting with your company to achieve a goal. And the customer journey covers day one of when somebody has zero awareness to when they hear from you. And then it goes all the way through what I like to call from day zero to day hero. So when they are an advocate for your brand, when they love you, they pay attention to what you do, they pass word of you on to their friends and family, which is the goal, right?
Mhm.
So social media comes into part in the beginning a lot of times within the customer journey, where somebody who's interested in what you do or who might find what you do relevant stumbles upon your account in whatever way. Sometimes it could be through YouTube by searching a certain topic and finding your video. It could be by them seeing that you follow somebody else on Instagram and they go check you out. Either way, it really offers that initial first impression for somebody to understand what you do, what you stand for, and then how they can get further involved with your brand.
So it's like a Facebook ad. So if somebody saw a Facebook ad of a company they've never seen or heard before, and then they clicked on that ad, that would be like day zero, right?
Days, yeah, exactly. Facebook ads or just advertisements in general are a great example of you proactively putting your message out there to a cold audience and then being able to find you. There's those paid ways to do that, and then there's also organic ways to do that for people to stumble upon you. But what's really cool about understanding your customer journey is you're able to learn what makes people tick and take action from one step to the next. So when you are working with Facebook ads, you're able to see analytics on how many people like didn't pay attention to it at all, how many people clicked it, how many people followed through and actually bought what you were trying to sell. And so each one of those little movements is milestones along the customer journey. By using a framework like a customer journey to map those milestones, you can start to see where people stay on or where they drop off, which gives you more opportunity to tweak what your system is, like tweak your approach, and then have more success.
Awesome. Very, very cool. So, that being said, I've had friends who have introduced a customer journey into kind of like their marketing mix. They realized that it was something that they didn't have and they needed to establish it. And some of them, they said, had really great success. Other times, they weren't really sure where to start. If somebody is interested in establishing a customer journey at their company, where should they start? Would it be a customer journey map? Is there another business tool they should use?
Yeah, so I recommend using a customer journey map, but a common mistake that people make is to just focus on the buyer journey. So
Okay.
it's just the phases of somebody learning about you, considering buying from you, and then buying from you.
Right.
But what I really recommend is to open that view a little bit and take that full picture look from day zero to day hero and use 6 different milestones to map the customer journey. So I'll just tackle them real quick. We can go into more detail if you guys need, but at a high level, those milestones are awareness. So somebody stumbles upon your social media and learns about you. Consideration. So this is the moment if they're deciding they think you're cool or not, if they like your stuff, if they want to opt in and follow more. This is the part that tweaks a little bit depending on what somebody's brand or business model would be, but purchase is I think purchase is my next phase. It could be subscribe to as well, depending if you have an influencer model. And then after that, this is where they're experiencing the value that you have to give, and they have the choice to grow with your brand. So they're really seeing the value of it, and then they're able to then decide if they want to expand in other ways with what you offer. So expansion, where they are buying more of the products you offer, buying the same thing again and again. And then finally, advocacy, where they are so in love with what you do. They're on the edge of their seats every time you launch something new. And again, they're really telling their friends and family all about you.
It sounds kind of like, from my perception, and correct me if I'm wrong, like a more holistic looking like sales funnel, like in my opinion. Like it considers everything, like from not just the beginning or like the engagement or the conversion, but the life after, and hopefully the retention of that customer, and then bringing them back, to retain them. So that being said, there's so many different sources that you can pull from probably to chart out these different milestones. Like what data or insights would you recommend, and where would you pull them from to create this?
Yeah, I would say first of all, to one of the things you said about it being a broader sales funnel,
Mhm.
I think that that's true, and it's a good way to look at it. And the benefit of also going in like this step of further detail is that you can start to actually use this as a framework to craft your full experience. So it is helpful to take each one of those milestones, look at the metrics, and continue on. And I also recommend that people look at each one of these milestones and say, how is my brand infused in this? What does the experience look like throughout each one of those milestones, and how is it consistent? How is it exceptional? How is it making a lasting impression on people? In terms of metrics, what I think really helps people, especially just with marketing in general, if you're an overwhelmed business owner trying to balance this, or an entrepreneur, you have to really look closely at the metrics that matter. And I think especially when people are learning about social media, there's so many metrics that each platform can offer you that you could track like in so much detail, from Instagram likes to Instagram saves to Instagram sends. That's just on Instagram alone. But you want to know what metrics matter from one place to the next that can actually help you follow along the full customer journey. So
Okay.
for example, if you were to focus, I'm trying to think maybe the best amount of detail to go into this for, but if you're looking at your customer journey and it starts on social media with awareness and consider, yes, subscribers or followers matter, but what it's really about is engagement, and if people are then clicking further into your funnel. So what I would look at if I was looking at the highest level across all my social media accounts is how many people are actually clicking from my videos or from my Instagram posts that like spark attention to
Right.
go to sign up for my email list, or hit up my website, or even then further down my funnel, apply to work with me through my services page. That's an example for the beginning of the funnel. And then further down, it gets more sophisticated because you have to be able to track the way your customer is using your product, or if they're coming back for more. And that goes more into your like customer relationship management.
Okay.
As a service provider, there's tools for that. And then if you're further into like a product business or e-commerce business, there's other different tools for that. And that mostly has to do with your customer emails and retargeting them.
Wow.
Fascinating stuff. I'll tell you, I'm learning so much here. So again, we are talking to Kaylee Rajeski, and we're talking about the customer journey. So how often should businesses be updating their customer journey map?
Yeah, this is a great question. Um, really strong customer centric businesses look at this every single day, but they update it quarterly. And it sounds like a lot. And I think oftentimes when people dig into this, it can feel like this big strategic thing that you do that's a lift. And then once you do it, you're done forever until you have to dust it off again in like 5 years. But the truth is that, yeah, Melissa's like picturing it. We know. But the truth is that this is a dynamic framework. And the more that you learn about your customers, how they're interacting with your brand, what resonates, you're going to want to iterate within each one of those milestones. I think you can take a pretty good guess, like right at the beginning, depending on your business model again, or the experience you want to give people. Like if one of the milestones should be subscribed versus email opt-in, like there's different things you can play around with there. But for the most part, you're going to want to take a look at this every quarter and say, what are the new learnings that we figured out based on customer feedback at each one of these buckets? How are people moving through them? How can we optimize them?
Nice.
Very good. All right. So common mistakes. What are some of the common mistakes you think businesses make with defining a customer journey?
So common mistakes are like I spoke to in the beginning, where people only focus on the buyer journey. So I'm glad we got that out of the way, and now everybody wants to. We're all bought in to building that out even further. I think another common mistake people make is looking at the wrong metrics and not making sure that the metrics like map to a pathway that would lead to your customer success, so you can actually track if people are getting that full value out of your brand and then moving further to that advocacy stage. So this is where the experience aspect I think really comes in within marketing strategy, that people it's like that third thing that they may or may not get to, as long as they're talking to people and moving in people in the right way. You feel like you're being successful with marketing, but really the experience is a differentiator there. And so a mistake people make is not looking at their customer journey and saying, how is this speaking to the full customer experience? Am I giving my customers what I like to call the 4 C's of customer experience? Is it consistent? Am I communicating effectively for them? Am I celebrating them along the way? And I don't know why I'm blanking on my last C right now. I don't, that's that's gonna bother me. That's enough C's for you for today. And then but yeah,
We'll do another podcast on that last C.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, community. Am I allowing them to see themselves within this brand, see other people, see themselves in other people that they're seeing use this brand, connect to me on a deeper level? It's all very important to have that within the customer journey. It's not just dots, it's not just graphs, it's not just numbers, it's what is the human thing that's making people stick, that's magnetizing them and moving them along.
Nice.
Dropping the gems here. I love it.
I know. So much good information.
Thank you.
All right. So, do you have anything that you would like to promote, and where can our audience find you?
Yeah. So your audience can find me on YouTube. I post YouTube videos weekly talking about marketing and content creation and how you can create amazing customer experiences through your brand. They can also find me on Instagram and on my website. All of my handles are at CaleyEnd.co. So it's CALLIE. Yeah, you'll link it, no doubt. And then I am offering an exclusive service right now that's in an accelerator form. So I work with startups and small business owners to evaluate their marketing, branding, and experience strategy to make sure that they are building community and activating raving fans throughout what they do. Oftentimes this is focused around a specific launch where we really want to activate those audience members, wake up those numbers, get people to start really creating hype around what you do. So that's how people can work with me. And if they're interested, they can just shoot me an email.
Yeah, no, we will definitely link all your stuff, and I'm sure you'll definitely get inquiries after this really awesome episode. So we always like to end on kind of a fun or introspective question. So I wanted to ask you, what has your journey through entrepreneurship taught you about yourself?
Oh. Well, that's a great question. There's so many different things that you could tackle through that. I really, for me, entrepreneurship has always been about like living my purpose and like finding an avenue for me to be able to have the impact I know that I can uniquely have on the world and for other people, help other people the best way I can. So I guess the impact entrepreneurship has had on me is that it's allowed me a way to experience that personal growth and grow the way that I need to in order to help other people the best. That looked like, really awkward videos on YouTube for a while.
We all had to start somewhere, like judgment free zone, right? Then, like,
yeah. Yeah, but wouldn't trade it for anything.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know what? I mean, honestly, like so many good sound bites just to share on social. And I feel like this is a great way to approach social strategy and just cement the importance of bringing that into everything that you do. So thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon in our online community.
Thank you so much. It's great talking to you guys, and wish you the best.
Take care.
Thank you, Kaylee.